I would like to call to order the April 9th, 2025 Explore Academy Las Cruces Governing Council meeting at 6:10 p.m. If we could do a roll call, Chair Rayleigh here, Member Graham,
Here.
Member Reyes,
Here.
Member Pahi.
Here.
Sorry, Chair Reyes, my bad.
Fine, don't worry.
And that keeps us to our quorum. So then Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I would like to go ahead and open it up for public comment regarding any item on the agenda. So if you are a member of the public attending this meeting please raise your hand or put in the chat that you would like to address the board on something related to an agenda. Make sure that you talk about which agenda item, state your name, relationship to the school, and the agenda item at which you are speaking.
So I do see that Ms. Black has her hand raised, so I'm going to promote her to the panel to make her comment. Is that okay?
Yep. And just as a reminder, Ms. Black, the board will not respond to your comment, but we do appreciate your comment this time.
And it is limited to 2 minutes. Okay, let's promote her to the panel. There we go. Ms. Black, if you could unmute yourself, you can make your comment.
Oh, my hair looks ridiculous. Y'all don't know me, but I can talk really fast. So my name is Alexis Black. I am the instructional coach at the school. My comment is actually, sorry, in regards to enrollment and kind of like staffing, kind of tangentially. So I know we've had a lot of conversations around hiring a principal and a head administrator and an assistant principal. And a lot of staff members have just come to me very concerned about budget, especially when it relates to enrollment, and just worried that if we try to hire too many administrators, that it will put us in a budget crunch again this year. So they asked me to make that comment. And so I'm just going to relay the information. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Black.
Okay, then I'll move you back to the attendees, Ms. Black. Thank you. If anyone else has a comment, they should raise their hand or put it in the chat.
I'm not seeing any additional
anything.
comments at this time. We'll move on then to approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
I motion that we approve this agenda.
I will second that. Linnell Pahi here.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Agenda is approved. Next, it's approval of I almost said April, the March 12th meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve?
I guess I'll motion to approve.
Okay, perfect. I will second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I wasn't present for the meeting.
Abstain?
Abstain?
Okay, so 2 abstains and 2 yays. Because that was the last meeting that Claren was there. So that was our quorum at that point in time. Okay. And next, moving on to our financial committee reports. If we could promote Josh, please.
Hello.
Hi, Josh.
Hi. All right. Give me 1 sec to get my screen in order. Okay, here we go. So we're looking at the March check register. You can see here that the largest of the expenses happen to be rent, food, NIPSIA. Um, let's see, the necessities operationally. The school has been running pretty bare for the most part, knowing that we had a drop in enrollment earlier this year. So pretty much just the necessities in general, items that the school needs to operate at this time and run efficiently, have been going to the school monthly. Um, those are the larger of the expenses through our platform. And moving down, you'll see our ACH expenses from the bank, that being retirement fees, and then a correction to taxes for an employee at the school. And of course, the biggest expense of all, payroll, um, in on the 15th and the 31st for taxes. So all in all, the grand total is $307,741.07. That was expense for the school this year, I mean this month. Free to open, free to answer any questions about any of the vendors, any of the expenses that you all may have. Okay. Seeing no questions, move on to the bank reconciliation. You'll see that the school started with roughly $321,000 the beginning of March. We had receipts of roughly $346,000 and disbursements of roughly $848,000. So we ended up with a negative for the month of $102,000, and then an ending balance of $218,000. So now that the SAG has officially lowered due to the lower than expected enrollment, we're finding a little bit less cash at the end of the month. And we'll see that to the very end of the year. The expected general ledger and the general ledger both match, which indicates clean books, and that means that we don't have to present any JEs of any changes to you all today. Any questions on the bank reconciliation or activity of what occurred in the month of March?
So is our bank account still in a deficit, Josh, or that was just, it's
No,
been
no,
reconciled
it's not.
since
It
then?
wasn't in a
Okay,
deficit. We
okay,
just had more disbursements than any revenue received. So yeah, if we had more receipts than disbursements, it would be, the activity would be in a positive.
okay,
We currently ended March in a positive $218,000.
okay. That's what I thought I heard you say, but when I see red numbers, I get a little concerned. So thank
Yeah,
you.
yep, don't we all?
Yeah, thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have question? Oh, sorry, Chair Rayleigh.
You're good. We can jump back and forth.
Any other discussion on this bank reconciliation for March? Okay, Josh, was that the only document you had for us to review this month?
I have one more document
Okay, thank
that
you.
needs to be voted on. The other document I have is just for informational purposes for the board.
Is
But
it
we
just the
have one
bar,
bar.
Josh? Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah,
And this was for a mini grant that the school received in the spring, that we'll be using on general materials and supplies, that we had to create a bar for in order to get reimbursed. The plan is to use the funds for science and math activities that have to do with the grants. So it's in the process of being expended completely, but we need the bar in order to properly get refunded for the expenses. and it's for $10,000. There any question on the bar or what the grant
Can
is?
I just add something to that? Oh, I'm sorry, my video's not on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey Josh, so I just wanted to add, because this is the REC, this is the mini grant, and actually it's not for science. I just wanted to clarify what it's for. It's for
Okay.
our social emotional learning. So this is all of the stuff that we wrote to improve our social school and culture and climate setting in the school. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's
Yeah.
the software
So
for.
this
That's
is
right.
this is the Southwest REC. Well, they're the flow through for this grant. It's from the PEC. So we wrote it directly to the PEC to address some of the things like student culture and climate, sense of belonging. And that's what this is. So and with it, it'll support our house system implementation. And I'll talk a little bit about that later, but that's what it's for. I just wanted to make sure that it was for the record. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
Thanks.
This is also the people that give the educational assistance grant as well. So if there's ever a question about what the bar may look like on the state website, this is combined with that grant because there's only one fund for this particular
Okay,
distributor.
I get it.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the financial documents as well as? Actually, let's do financial documents first and then we'll do the bar. Sorry. Do we have a motion to approve the financial documents?
I make a motion that we approve the financial documents that were presented.
I will second.
that.
Yep. Thank you, Linnell.
Perfect. Excuse me, we'll do a roll call. Member Pahi,
Yes.
Chair Reyes,
Yes.
Member Graham,
Yes,
and Chair Rayleigh, yes. Do we have a motion to approve bar 24?
Member Graham will also make a motion to approve the bar.
Do we have a second?
I will second. Chair Reyes will second.
Member Pahi,
Yes.
Member Reyes,
Yes.
or Chair, cheese maneezes. I'm sorry. Member Graham,
Stop, it's fine.
Chair Rayleigh, yes.
We're all members of the governing board.
Okay. And then we do have enrollment numbers on here.
Okay, let me see. Okay, so these are our numbers for the enrollment projection associated with the bond deal. So this is where we believe that the school will be enrollment wise the next 4 years. School ended, well, not ended, but the school had a 40th day count of 599. And we believe the 40th day count this upcoming fall will be around 769. So this is the goal. This is what is going to be presented to the bond people in order to make their projections and their forecasts related to the bond. So that would be a 28% raise in enrollment from 599 to 769, a 14% raise from FY26 to FY27 of 769 to 879, and then a 16% raise from 879 to 1017 from FY27 to FY28, and then from FY28 to FY29 an 11% raise in enrollment from 1017 to 1125. So quite a bit of a bump at the beginning of of this year, and then considerably growing from there.
Josh, do you know the average, or Tony, or Karen, actually anybody on this call, do you know the average charter school growth in Las Cruces?
I do not.
I
do
don't.
not.
And really the biggest bump because of the 28% in that first year is because we did have that number. It's just the construction is what delayed us. So right now, you know, with our applications and the current kids that we have that are coming back, we're like, if, as long as everybody gets in all their paperwork, all the new students, we would hit that number of 769. And actually we would be over it but you know, there's always some that don't come, but it's not going to be the number of what it was. So that's why this first year is a bigger bump, because we really did have that amount. It's just the problem with the calendar as to when we started school. So that's why I'm confident with that bigger bump, and then a little bit more conservative the next few years.
Right. From what I understand, from what I remember, at the beginning of the year, the construction kind of hindered people starting school on time at the beginning of the
Right.
year, and you did have the
We had over
close to those numbers.
780. And it was, yeah, it was close to that. It was like, I want to say 780 something at our highest.
And we had trouble with when we had to open, not only the delay, but then we had to open in
Oh, the
on
Tell
fall
Shore.
on Telshore,
Yep.
and older kids
Yep.
didn't want
That
that.
knocked out a
Young
lot of people. Mhm.
the littles didn't want their kiddos with the bigs, and yeah.
Yep. There's a whole variety of reasons why it went from over 770-ish, 780 to 599 at the 40-day.
Any questions that I can help answer regarding the enrollment projections that will be presented to the bond people?
So I'm sorry, Josh, can you remind me what the percentage was between 25, 26 and 26, 27?
And 26, 27, 14%.
14?
14. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then 16 and then 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Tony, you said that with current students plus applications, and are those, like, we've already ran through those applications, determined that there's no duplications, that it's one student, it's not, you know, a student or parent like we've had in the past where it's
Oh,
a
they're
parent that actually put their name, like these are unique people that have started the process.
no, they're doing that now. So that's just what we have. So, but they are doing that now. Like that's what the secretaries are going through and doing that, checking that. I mean, I kind of just eyeball it. I think they're probably, you should say probably conservative number, be 10% of those might be, you know, what they do sometimes is people apply, but they're already at the school. So, but I don't think it's more than that. I caught a few of them and we're going through the list and catching that. So even if you take off 10%, we're still at the let's see, minus 27. So if I took, so we have 273 apps to date. So if I took 27 off, just as a 10%, then it would be 766. So we're, yeah. So, you know, it's close, but we still have many days to go in this application process. So,
And then our average attrition between day one and day 40, right? 40 is when we that's
Mhm.
the
Yes.
the number.
40.
Okay. Do we
Yeah,
know what
that's the cutoff.
our average attrition number is during that time?
I don't know what the average is, just because this year was so different. I don't know what it was in past years, but like this year, I feel like wouldn't be a fair number because of the fact that the construction, the school starting late, the being at Telshore. So, you know, obviously it went from 599 to, I mean, from 70 something to 599, but that's, I think, out of the ordinary. We'd have to go back and look at the numbers for previous years, but we can.
Do you know how many new enrollees are siblings of current enrollees? Like, like if it's the first child, are there siblings coming after? And
Yeah, there are. I could just do an eyeball look and see, but
that's sometimes a good projection of stability for the school, that multiple children from the same family are attending.
yeah. Because we do ask that question on the application. And
Okay.
so does the student have, the question is, my computer's just really slow. Does the student have a sibling? If one more second, and just with the Zoom thing open, it's just like my computer is like screaming for mercy. Okay. Does the student have a sibling? And if I just sort it, let me see if I can just sort it really quick and just see how many yeses. There's quite a few just from eyeballing it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's quite a few here on the yeses. Just give me one more second here. So from number 180 all the way to 270, whatever, 273, yeah. So again, with the 10%, but 273 minus 180 said yes. So that's 2 1s and a 9, 93 kids
Okay.
have a
Thank you.
sibling either at the elementary or secondary. Yeah.
Right. It's all one school, so
Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty good though. I didn't even figure that number, so that's kind of cool you asked that. 93 out of the 273. Again, there might be some duplicates, but yeah, 93 out of the 273, that's pretty cool.
And then does
Like
this,
a third.
oops, sorry,
A third, right?
that's really cool. Does this also take into account like, sorry, my brain stopped for a minute, population decline? So there is a population decline across the nation as well as in Las Cruces. So less kids mean less market, right? And I'm from what I've seen, most schools are actually projecting lower enrollment next year. I know that we have extenuating circumstances because we're a new school and we're still building our capacity, but there is actually less population. And so I'm just wondering if that takes into account those statistics.
It isn't, but there's something else I wanted to mention the reason we have 28% raise is LCPS redistricted their schools. And so there's quite a few parents that are mentioning that as a reason. So because it's very hard now to transfer to another school in LCPS. As it was easier to do that, like just pick a school and you could bring your kid there. So the redistricting has caused that. But no, the population, no, I haven't seen that. I guess no, I haven't thought of that just because I feel like Las Cruces continues to grow. I don't know. That's what it feels like
I do
when
think
you're
that's
driving around.
I do think that's true statistically across the nation that public schools are declining, more homeschool people and all that. But overall, charter schools are increasing, not
Yeah, I
decreasing.
think that's what I feel, but and more also we're getting the word out, like each year more and more we'll know we have our, Delray campus is not in the main drag, on Telshore. And so, sometimes they're like, oh, where are you? That kind of thing. And so, yeah, I think it'll go up just because of that. But I didn't take the population numbers because I just feel like our town's growing more and more.
The enrollment cliff actually has to do with higher education because there will be fewer seniors graduating 2025, 2026, because there was a huge drop in population the year they were born. And so the enrollment cliff really has to do with higher education at this point. You're right.
Mm.
The birth rates have gone down, but not significantly enough yet. But you do see a lot of schools like El Paso consolidating schools and closing schools because of lack of enrollment. But I think it might be pretty stable for us for a few years. Pandemic babies actually increased the population, so we'll see. But you're right, there has been a decline, but I don't know that it would be, I don't think it would be the 28%. But I agree with Chair Rayleigh that we should be conservative, because if we have more enrollment before the 40-day count and then at the 40-day count it's higher, that actually benefits us in the long run. Of course, if you're too low, then you risk having too many kids and not enough funding from the state government to offset that. So it's kind of a funny balance. And when you talk about people, you just never know.
Right.
You never know what they're gonna do.
So my next question then is right now you're looking at K-5 and then 612. Are we still thinking 612 at the Delray campus? And if so, then these projections would require construction, correct?
No, we can at the Delray campus. Well, not this year, not next year. It would be
28, 27, 28.
27, 28. Maybe, I mean, I'm trying to go back to to the picture that I gave about the numbers. I'm on a different computer. So I think it was 550, 590. I think I said if the
599.
capacity of the rooms at Delray right now is 590. That way, by our model, the building can hold 900, but our model 590 is what I kind of figured out just by putting 18 kids in a room. We could do 20. I mean, we wouldn't want to go over that. So I would say in a few years, it'd have to be the 28, 29. It'd be tight, yeah, because 590, 630, So
Why
yeah,
does-
yeah.
Why does the 6 to 12 go down so much from next year to the year after?
6 to 12.
I just noticed that too. Thanks, Karen. We go from 515 to 465 and then back up.
That doesn't make sense. Are those
Yeah.
transposed or?
No, I don't think so. It could be.
Well, I don't get that
know.
projection.
612, 90, 95, 100 for 8th grade, 80, 85, 90, 40, 40, 60, 20, 25, 40. I don't know. Is it added wrong? Could be.
The 515 has got to be wrong. Let's see.
Maybe that's added wrong because because 612 is less on the first column. So
100
maybe
plus 100 plus
that could be my error.
90 plus 80 plus 40 plus 25 plus 10. That first column should be 445
Okay.
plus 254
Sorry.
is only 699 in that first column. Josh, I don't know who owns that document. Is that you, Josh?
It's me. Well, that was I made
Oh, it's
that.
a PDF.
Well, I didn't make
Yeah.
this, but I sent Josh that.
Yeah, so
Oh, but I want it to be 769 because that's the number that I've put
well,
in
then
my.
you need to increase your numbers all the way up because right now 6 to 12 adds up to 445. And if you put 445 down at the bottom as somebody double check my math, but 100 plus 100 is 200, 290, 370,
That's my fault.
10, 425, 435, 445. Yeah. So 445 is the 6 to 12 enrollment. So if you want that to be 515, you've got to add kids in every grade level up above there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get to the original.
And then, yeah, then all
Sorry
of
about
this
that.
is off.
Huh?
Then all of it's off because you don't want to go from 515 to 465. And then
No.
that's
Yeah, so let's review these numbers once again before we present
It's like
these.
added
I don't want to present these as bond numbers with any Because yeah, those don't
I
add
think
up.
the
And so
numbers, yeah.
I just want to make sure that those are the correct numbers. And then also we're looking at, capacity of buildings. We're looking at, we had that conversation around traffic for the Telshore building. So making sure that we're keeping that into account when it comes to any of our enrollment numbers before
I mean, I think
we present
the
this in projections.
targets are what I believe is good per, I don't know why I added it wrong. But
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
if
Yeah,
it's 10,
Right, but 630 is going to exceed your space at Del Rey. So we would want the numbers to reflect capacity of the buildings.
at 28, 29 though? Like that
Correct. Yeah.
far out
Yeah.
Mhm.
without any.
Well,
Okay.
only if you kept to the 15, only if you go by the model, 15 per.
Yeah, 18. It's
Yeah.
just,
And if you keep
18.
6 through 12 at Del Rey and you don't move 6 over to Telshore, right? Because that would change some of those numbers and your capacity in that building.
but the problem is if you move 6, which I actually thought about this past year, is that then you'd need a whole team of teachers that's just for 6, because there's no way the K-5 model doesn't work with the 6-7 middle school model. And then there's the 8-12 is the high school. So
Okay. Because the
yeah.
original thing that was presented to us about the Del Rey building was that it was actually going to be 8-12, and then Telshore was going to be at as K7. That's how it was originally presented to the board. So I think that's why we keep asking that question, is because that was the original plan. We're fine if that changed, of course, but
I
just
didn't
with
know.
thoughts around, with thoughts around capacity of our buildings. I mean, eventually we're going to hit capacity. So the idea is that's why we have a lottery. That's why charter
Well, I
schools have
know, but
lotteries in general, right?
right, the lottery's fine, but the problem is, what if we do a great job of keeping our 6th graders and, I mean, I put 12th graders 50. I mean, we could have more. I mean, you know what I mean? As we go up, maybe what if all the 7th graders wanted to stay in 8th and then stay in 9th and we have 100 kids graduate? I mean, I know that's probably not.
So then
realistic.
it would also potentially be that you're capping your K5 enrollment so that you're not exceeding your high school enrollment. Like that's something to think about as well, so that all of those students could go to 8th through 12th grade, could continue through high school. Unless you switch the buildings. I mean, I guess you could put
Yeah, the problem with that is that we thought about that too. And the problem with that is that there's really no room for any expansion, and really a secondary school, ultimately you'd want to have some kind of athletic facility so that
Right.
you can keep
Oh, for
kids,
sure.
so
Del
that's
Rey
why.
makes more sense for our high school students
And the
too, with
rooms are bigger.
parking. I mean, yeah, there's a whole reason why Del Rey makes more sense for a
Driving,
secondary.
that's-
But
right. But
yeah.
I thought about that too. I was like, why don't we just switch? But driving,
Parking,
yeah, so.
kids
So
parking.
you're basically saying you want numbers with the capacity of the building? Oh, okay. I mean, I can change that. I just,
Well,
I didn't think that.
yeah, expansion of our buildings, unless you did portables or something like that, is probably not really on the table. So the
I was thinking
idea,
portable things, yeah.
yeah, so you could do portables or something like that, potentially, and that would have to be, of course, factored into your budget each year as to whether you can purchase or rent a portable. But yeah, capacity of the building needs to be taken to account when we're talking about growth. Eventually the school's going to hit capacity. That's the reality of it. So that's what we would like to see, is that we're taking all of those things into account. Yes, of course, we want to see growth, or we want to see, we definitely want to see like the school at capacity every single year. That's absolutely what we want. But we just need to take that into account. So if you're worried about like all of your K5 not being able to go into high school and stay with us, then you might want to cap your K5 enrollment as well, so that you can transfer all of those students into the high school level. But those are all of the things that the board would like these numbers to be based around, not just based around projection of students and then that meaning budget, right? We would like all of those factors to be included in your projections.
Okay, and I mean, I can rework that. It's just, if you see the K5 too, it's 495. Really, they can hold over 600, but the problem is Telshore Road. I mean, it took me like almost 5 minutes just to make a right out of there. But I mean, the thing is too, is that when I look at these numbers, I mean, yeah, the capacity, like maybe down the line, I wouldn't want to move sixth grade next year, but like down the line, move 6, 7 together back if we need to, because you could still fit 200 and something more kids over there.
No,
At the,
absolutely. Yeah.
but,
So those
but
are some
then,
of the things that we would just like you to start thinking about with projections as well, is all of those factors that will determine, you know, really what is our growth over the next couple of years. Because of course we would want to hit capacity of our buildings, right? Like that's the goal, I think, for anybody, right? We want to hit capacity of our buildings, the capacity of our enrollment numbers that we've put in our projections, all of those things, absolutely. But we also have to think it, you know, around the buildings that we currently have, right? And the capacity that we have for those buildings. So that's just, and those thoughts, right? Around like, okay, well, what happens to construction and what would we need to do to tell Shore to make that easier for people to navigate? Those types of questions I think are pretty important to keep in mind, because we can't just expand, not thoughtlessly, but expand without thinking through all of those factors.
okay.
I do want to caution that the cost of portables is not a real feasible option. It's actually more expensive sometimes to equip portables and bathrooms and then adding additional rooms to a building. Just want to caution you about that. So you may not really want to go the portable route.
Right, no, and I get it, but I also think that we're not gonna keep, like, right now, our biggest drop is in 8th grade, going to 9th, and I don't think we're gonna keep 90% of our 8th graders if we don't have some kind of athletic area.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know.
you were talking about an indoor like multi-purpose room or something, but then
I'm talking, yeah,
that'll
a
reduce your
dome thing,
capacity.
a dome thing. No, it would be outside, a dome thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't, cause I know on my projections, I put 90, but I was thinking like 90 out of 100 would stay, but only if we have those extracurricular. But I don't know how we're gonna do that if we don't have any other kind of additional thing.
Which I completely agree as well. I think that, you know, we do have to just be cognizant of our budget and our buildings. And there are several charter schools that don't have, you know, athletic buildings for many, many years. So that's just kind of we just need to be really cognizant of making sure that we're not putting the school, just, not to comment on what was commented earlier, but yeah, that there's some financial things
Right,
that are on the horizon that we just need to keep in mind. And making some of these decisions, although they're wants and they're absolutely helpful for retention and keeping things, being, we love optimism, we love those, dreaming, but there's also, a reality that we have to keep in track, and keeping that, our wants in alignment with the actual ability of our school, and to keep financially sound, is that all of those have to balance in some way, shape, or form. We would all love to just be like, yes, we would love to just build a building and build on classrooms and build and continue to grow and continue to grow. But the reality is that that's not the reality, right? We have to be really cognizant of the steps that we make moving forward for the financial stability of the organization.
Yep, no, I'll rework the numbers with 590 at the top for the 612, the numbers I gave you on the sheet there. And then K5, just even though at capacity, it would be, I forgot what the number is now, I'm not looking at it, but it was 6 something. I don't think that's feasible because of the location.
Tony, do you have, when you did have all those kids of 770, or do you have like the breakdown of where they were going to be spread throughout the buildings, in the fall when you kind of had them?
Well, I have to break down. No, I'd have to try to find the old sheet as to where they were gonna be. Yeah, I don't
I
have
mean,
that.
obviously, it's so long ago, but I'm just curious. Like where they
Yeah,
were gonna,
if they were at elementary or secondary, is that what you're asking, Josh? Like
right,
where
The
the
biggest
majority
ones
of
were
the
at
drop
ele-
off
Yeah,
were
the
at
Right.
biggest,
elementary, yeah.
like know what the numbers were like? It was kind of like the second row you see, like first grade would have had 72, 72, like it would have been big at, because that's our biggest thing is K-5.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then sixth grade was really big and then that dropped, and the sixth grade was where we took the biggest probably hit because of the, you know, the whole mess with everything. But sixth grade, seventh grade, that's why those are our biggest, pretty much most of Del Rey is middle schoolers. And then, yeah, and then it drops off. So most of it was elementary. Those numbers were like 4 teachers at kindergarten, 4 teachers at first grade, 4 teachers at second, which is kind of like the second and third row there. 27, 28. Yeah, those were our biggest numbers, but I don't have that in front of me. Okay, well, I will work on that.
We could probably get it for, certainly after this meeting or for the next meeting in
Yeah.
terms of what the grade
Yeah.
levels look like for last year. We have that data somewhere. I just don't know how to put my hands on it quickly.
Yeah, it's the old enrollment sheet.
Mhm.
It's just, I don't know what the cap for K-5 would be, because like on the sheet that, on the, when I looked at the capacity, there's 38 rooms at Telshore. If you do it by 38 times 18, you know, if you go by capacity, it was 684. You could have 684 kids at Telshore, but I don't think anyone wants that traffic situation, because just with 200, they have right now 220 or 10 kids, and the traffic is crazy. And I know that there's a project with the city to redo Telshore where they're gonna have another lane or something like that, but I don't know when that's starting. They keep saying it's gonna start. But I'm not sure that 600, and imagine doing an event there with all the parents coming. There's not parking for that, you know?
You
So,
also need to consider, like, if you put X number of bodies in every single space, then teachers are sharing classrooms because
yeah, they would share. Yeah,
I mean, you need to
that's not
consider
ideal.
capacity doesn't necessarily just mean how many fit in the building, but what makes
Right.
for your program.
That's right.
Right. Right. That's what I mean, I just went by rooms and like everybody in the rooms, but that's where we're at with Del Rey though. I mean, we're gonna be sharing rooms next year. Even just with the numbers I see there. I mean, we're almost sharing rooms now. So that's the concern. But maybe like you said, like Clara said about possibly moving some more kids down to, I just really think that honestly, our school needs a year of not moving somewhere, because that's gonna impact it. If we say sixth grade's gonna be over here, it's gonna impact enrollment again. because
Okay,
that's-
so Tony, sorry, you just said something that made me have a question then. If you're already about to share classrooms with the amount of students that you already have at Del Rey, do all of these projections require expansion of the Del Rey
No.
building?
No, but we'll have to share if and just a 6:30, yeah. Not 5:30. I mean, we could do it. It's just that, it's tight.
Well, I was just wondering if how many do you currently have enrolled in 612 that you're already almost sharing classrooms?
Well, I mean, like right now when teachers have off, they have 2 prep periods off. Those are vacant rooms. So what I'm saying? So when I say share, I mean like 2 teachers share. So every teacher has the 2 flex periods. We would just have to use probably one of them to put a class in there. So we have 320 or 14 right now. And so when I say sharing, like I don't, like if I had another teacher, there's no room of their own. Like they'd have to, we have the rooms, that the availability, like open periods, but they'd have to float. That's what I mean by that. But we're not adding many more teachers. We're adding only, because a lot of our high school classes are small. So we still have room to grow there, and middle school. And so we have room to grow. We're only gonna probably add maybe 2 teachers, because of the higher level, you know, we only have a few kids moving up. We have,
Yeah, 10.
well, yeah, we have 8. That's a projection of, we're gonna get 2 more.
Oh, gotcha. So
Yeah.
there are 8 that will be seniors next year.
Yeah. And so I'm hoping maybe we'll get 2. And like, we got an 11th grade application. I saw that. I was like, wow. So, you know, it's just not ideal. We want every teacher to have their room because of flavor. Because if you ask a teacher to do flavor and they can't set things up in their room because they're in 5 different rooms, you know. I guess I just misunderstood what I didn't think of the at capacity to go at capacity. I was thinking big. So, but I can change it and we can end 28, 29 at capacity.
Well, just so there's a couple of models like to look at, right? There are a couple of options. It's not one option or another. It's trying to find the balance between them. And so having a few more realistic numbers at which places would help make those projections.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Because you're the one who lives there. We don't live there. So we don't know how you use the rooms and at what periods you use the rooms. And because, you know, you're the one who's there every day. So giving us a couple of options for what those things look like for the current and foreseeable future. And then we can talk about projections for the wants once we can get stability of what that space does.
Okay. So so 5, I went by 590. I mean,
Okay.
So the idea would be to provide projections with the current space you have, like not anticipating expansion of classroom space. You know, we could talk about, you know, an external space for activities or something like that. That's a different story. But as for classroom space, looking at projections just around current what you currently have in your buildings.
okay. And there are 3 big rooms, like super big for 18 kids that I mean, it's not that expensive to put up like a wall in between and make it into 2. So that would give us 3 more classrooms.
So like putting in like a partition like they do in ballrooms, right? Is the thought?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Just
mean, 2
pull it forward and pull it out.
Yeah.
corner rooms are really big, like super big. And so, yeah, you could put a partition and you get 1, 2, and then another classroom on the inner side, and you get 3 classrooms.
What was that building before? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar
It was a
with
call
the,
center.
Call
There were no partitions though. When I went
it
in
was
there,
a call center. Okay.
it was just a giant room with like cubicles. And so all of that, like I didn't have any part of the design or anything like that, but it was all, it wasn't there.
Partitioned out. Okay.
Yeah.
We could do open concept schools. No, just kidding. Just
Oh.
kidding.
I
Just
did take
kidding.
one of those a long time ago.
There's still a high school like that where I used to live. Oh, it's a mess.
And my
Yeah,
junior high
in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend actually went to that high school. She talks about it all the time, about their open concept high
Horrible.
school.
Horrible. I would go to do professional development there. Horrible idea.
Especially for somebody like me who you can hear across the school if I just have my door open, like I can't even imagine having a completely open classroom. Anyways, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's probably enough on enrollment. Tony, I think you have your direction on what the
Yeah, and
board
I
is
got
kind of
the
wanting from those numbers.
Yeah.
So I think we can definitely move on from that. So appreciate your feedback on that. And we'll look
Yeah.
forward to a new enrollment projection. Okay, so then actually, thank you so much, Josh. I appreciate your time
Yeah,
on that, and we'll
Thanks,
certainly
Josh.
Sure.
we'll
no
certainly be
problem.
in touch. You probably could have headed out a while ago, but we appreciate your patience.
No, happy to be part of the conversation.
Well, we're happy to have your input. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, Josh, I'm gonna send you off to cyberspace. Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye.
Okay, looking at the school leader report then, we've kind of hit enrollment a little bit already, Tony, just a little bit. But if you want to
I
get
did
into
my
some
whole,
of those
I feel
other
like I did
sections,
my whole report already. I got, that was my report.
you may
So-
have.
I may have. So enrollment marketing, we talked, oh, I do want to add some things. So, thank you for the time. We started our orientations and, we did our first orientation at Del Rey campus. And it was a week ago or so. It was full, like, I mean, there were like probably 50 families, which is really cool. So like, this is what we're doing. We're doing more of these kind of events to get parents invested. Like I already know some of the kids because they came to the info night. Then they came to the enrollment thing. And so like, we're already getting to know the parents. And I said, you only need to come to one of the orientations. They're like, we're coming to every single one. I was like, okay. So, we're doing another one May 1st. I think it's May 1st. And our teachers are going to do us also a student showcase where our art teacher started the idea and she's like, can I put work out and like show some art? And I was like, yeah. So then I asked the science teacher, I said, well, some of those projects you guys did, because I went and saw the science projects that they were doing in one of their elective classes. And I said, you want to put some of those out? So then I just thought, all right, we're going to invite all the teachers to do some, if they want to, they could, because when we walk around and give a tour, they love going in classrooms. So we already show their classrooms, but this way you walk in and there's work. So the orientations, and we got them really excited. So we did like a game with them. We're trying to engage families in just because if you get to know, not necessarily me, but like we had a teacher there, we had the nurse there, we had secretary there, we had Mr. Zapata. And so like if you get and connect, like I saw some of the little kids, 6th grade, talking to they're little to me, but talking to Miss Perez, our special education teacher. She was walking around like with the kid and they're talking to her. You already have a connection. You're coming in August. Like you met Miss Perez, I want to come. And that's what we need to do more of. So as we go through the summer too, we might do, hey, come on to the campus and we're gonna have some ice cream and we can talk, or we'll help you with this, or did you order your shirt, or that kind of thing. And so it was so great to see all the parents, and then we did like a little game with them. That's the way we engage people and say, all right, like we're getting excited. Otherwise, we don't see them till August, and then they're like, oh, well, I decided to go so and so. Like, no, we want you to come here. And so tonight, actually, so Mr. Gomez, that's probably why he's busy, because he's over at Telshore doing their first orientation with the littles. So how fun. It was just so great. And the kids were so excited. They're walking in the rooms and looking around. Yeah, it was just great. Our staff showing up, and it was really great. So that's really exciting. Those orientation nights, we're telling parents that they should come to at least one, but a lot of them are like, see you next month. I'm like, okay, I don't care if 100 people show up, because we want to keep them engaged so that they know that we're thinking of them, and they can ask questions and get to know us. And so it's super fun. And we love getting to know the kids already. I mean, that's cool. We did do a mini survey of not extracurricular, but of facilities, but we didn't have enough respondents. So I want to throw it out there again, but parents really love the small class sizes. We asked about small class sizes. We asked about extracurricular type of things, and they would love to see some type of fitness thing. Like they have like a playground at Telshore, but I've seen for high schoolers, like you see them around in the neighborhoods, like little fitness things, like they could do like exercise bike and stationary bike, or like a pull-up bar or something like that. Like things like fitness equipment, not necessarily like a giant playground, but like, things like that, like a little course where they can do those types of things. And I did see one locally, and then I reached out to the vendor to find out more information, and there are grants. Yay. So I'm working to try to get a grant for that. It's like I forgot what it's called, like Fit Gym or something. I don't know. But it's like a little, and it has a canopy, and you can get like a grant. So that's an idea.
Is that the one on Hadley by the soccer fields and the baseball fields?
No, this one I saw, it was by my old school. At
Oh, okay.
MV1. It's over there on Loman. Yeah, it's like and they have a canopy and it has little exercise things, but it's probably the same idea. Yeah.
Okay.
And the kids can do stations and they go and they do the rowing machine or whatever they do. So I'm looking into those grants for that because parents really would like something like that. By the way, we also, just so you know, I did a little survey about cell phones because I know it's a big thing coming up in just in nationwide. And the majority of our parents really don't want cell phones even at lunch, which I thought was really interesting. So I don't know what that's going to look like. I just wanted to see what their thoughts were about cell phones, but they really wanted cell phones to be put away at lunch. But you know, it's hard to then police that, and how do you do that? But it's just a thought. I wanted to just see their feelings, and it was like definitely yes, and it was like over 50% of the parents said definitely yes. So that's interesting. Let's see. What's the third thing I have? Oh, celebrations. Oh, we also had on our term break day, Mr. Zapata took two of our educational assistants that help with flex and food service up to Albuquerque to see the Albuquerque campus and how they do their flex, because it's definitely, flex is one of those things that's a little bit challenging, especially with middle school, and they learned a lot. And so we're excited to share more about how we can use that flex time for the better, you know, for our students, to get them into studying and helping them. What does that look like? How do you look up your assignments and then keep track of what you need to do, and track for our high schoolers your credits? And so we're super excited about that. I just love when they're like, can we go to Albuquerque and take a look and see what they do? I'm like, yeah. And so that's just awesome that they wanted to even do that. So those are our educational assistants. They're outstanding. And food service, and they looked at that, the food service and how that operates, so that they can get some more ideas and things like that about lunch and things. I think that's it. Really, it's mainly about enrollment time right now, and really doing those. I love when we have so many people come to our info sessions. So we're still doing info sessions for new, but now we get a mix. So sometimes at the info session, even though it's for people who didn't apply, the people that applied come. So like you just read the room and try to figure out, all right, who applied, who's already in, and who wants to apply. And so with words getting out, and know what's really interesting is that at the orientation, I said, how many people have had a tour? And only about 5 people out of the 5 families out of the 50 had a tour, which I think is interesting. They implied maybe because they heard their friend or they have a child at the elementary, that kind of thing. So I think that's pretty cool that the word of mouth is getting out there. And so I'm excited about that. But really, that's kind of what we're busy with, the enrollment and marketing. And yeah, just trying to move forward to staffing too, and see. And again, those numbers are really important. That's why I want to see that they have their forms in so that I can hire the next teacher, because that is super important. That's why we have to engage them, because I don't want to hire people if we don't have all the forms in, and we have more deadlines, and our office managers are doing a great job, our secretaries, receptionists, calling people and, hey, how can I help you get these forms done? Because it is quite a bit of forms when you first come, just like any school. Every school has forms. So that's really what it's about right now. And yeah. I think that's all I have, as far as we just finished, this is Q3, we just finished, and, so 2 more terms to go, and our last day is June 13th. Which normally wouldn't be so, one other update with the calendar, so there's still guidance that we're waiting for, but, because we're waiting for the state to tell us whether certain days count like asynchronous and our term break days and all of that. It changes every year. So we're still waiting for the final word on that. But our spring break will be lined up with LCPS, which is real, and NMSU. But other than that, you know, we can't exactly have the same calendar as LPCPS because we have 22-day terms. And it's really important that we don't end the term in the middle of a break like Christmas, because that was really hard, but we had no choice this year. So it seems like it's falling into place. Hopefully we will get the guidance soon about because it's 11, I think it's like 1160 hours or 180 days or something like that. So we're just waiting to see if it's going to be hours or days. And so we should find out pretty soon. So you'll have the calendar for approval next month. So. And if people ask, a lot of like other districts do approve the calendar early, but a lot of times charter schools, it's really important we get it right, because like a bigger district can then make those corrections where it's not as big a deal. But like for us, we don't want to put a calendar out and then parents go, oh, well, now you changed it again, kind of deal. So, but tentatively, the first day of school will be around either July 31st or August 1st. And then we'll be done in May, probably right after Memorial Day. It depends on if we need to add any extra days. So that's the goal. The goal, so that parents, we did a calendar survey too and we had a lot of families, almost 200 fill that out. So most families would like to start as close to the beginning of August and end in May. So we're going to try our best to get there. We might, if it trickles a little bit into June for the teachers, that's okay. But all right, thank you guys.
I do want to just add, if I may, Chair Rayleigh and Chair Reyes, that the calendar, Felicia Boatman is very, works very closely with the school leader on the calendar and the requirements, and along with Axiom. She did tell me that we may have it ready for you as soon as that special meeting on the 21st. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
wanted to bring it then, I'll let you know, and then you can let me know if you want it on the agenda or not. But she did think she could not, they just got some information, I think like yesterday. And so she could not have it ready for you tonight. But I did want you to know that she does think she could have it ready for that next special meeting if you so want to entertain it sooner.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, like what we work very closely together, I kind of put my wish list together and then she helps make it all fit. So I just wanted to let you know.
Okay, thank you. If you do have that calendar ready by that special meeting, it would be, it'd be a nice thing to look at.
Thank you so much, Tony.
You're welcome. Thank you guys.
It does look like we can head on down then to, there's a federal grant application that we are discussing.
Did you not want me to go over the general updates and
Oh,
reminders?
I'm so sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
It's quick. As we talked about before, there's the April monthly update from ELS, and I made a note there that anytime you review that and have questions or want to know what anyone is doing, please just let me know or let Dr. Hull know, and we'll invite those folks to come speak to you. The number 2 is, well, maybe I should stop. Did anyone already have a comment about the updates or a question for me? No. Number 2 is the charter renewal for next year. I just put there the 3 important highlights. There is another training session, the 2nd. They're not the repeats, they're consecutive, but there's a training session on April 14th. I guess that's Monday, 9 to 11 a.m. If any of you are available to attend, please let me know and I'll make sure you get that link. The charter renewal application, that's a link to the PED website with all the materials, which I've also downloaded to our Google Drives, but that's due October 1st. And then just want you to save the date. We don't actually know which day exactly, but the hearing will be the week of December 8th. Currently, the PEC has December 8th, 9th, and 10th blocked off for hearings. We don't know yet when they will schedule ours. Did you have any questions about charter renewal process?
No, I need to review the types of documents and application part. So
Yeah,
I don't have
so
any questions yet, but I will.
Okay.
I'm sure I will.
I would like to keep charter renewal as a standing item. If we don't have anything to discuss, that's fine. But That way we can make sure that everybody's aware of the process and what we're working on. If that's okay with you? And then the third thing is the discharge hearing. I think everyone has, or at least a quorum has agreed to be there at 6 p.m. on the 21st. That's regarding an employee who requested a discharge hearing. A little bit about that process. I'll send out some more details, but basically, in summary, I did send process also to the employee along with the notice of discharge hearing. But in summary, the Dr. Hall would give her presentation or and any witness statements or evidence she wants to provide, and then the employee would have the opportunity to do the same. Board can ask questions. Board can then deliberate, excuse the parties, deliberate, and then of course any decision, if made that evening, would be made in open. I'll send you more details on that, but one thing that has to happen before the meeting is that both parties have to exchange like you would in a sort of quasi law court, right? So just like you would in a legal case, they would exchange discovery, if you will. So there will be documents that Dr. Hull is compiling, as well as documents requested from the employee, that then their testimony during the hearing should be, they shouldn't introduce any new evidence other than what that discovery reveals. So by next Wednesday, end of day, is when we set the deadline to exchange that information. And then between parties. So whatever Dr. Hall has will be shared with the employee and vice versa. And then we also ask the employee if they intend to bring legal counsel to notify us by next Wednesday as well. You can just choose whether or not you want legal counsel regardless, but attending the discharge hearing. But certainly if they're bringing a lawyer, you would want to, I would highly advise you to do the same. Any questions for me on that discharge hearing?
No,
Super. That's it for me.
thank you.
Okay, we got some grants to go over, it seems, correct?
Yeah,
I see that.
I'm gonna promote Lisa. She's our Director of Transportation and Federal Grants. And also Melissa Hernandez, because Melissa is our Director of Assessment and ELL, and she's primarily going to address any questions around Title III, which has to do with English language learners. But Lisa, I defer to you.
Perfect. Good evening, co-chairs and members of the board. I'd like to present to you today some information about the federal grant applications that we are currently working on. Right now, we are one of 47 districts and charter schools that are participating in the unified application that New Mexico PED has rolled out this year. And what that is previously each federal grant, IDEA, Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV, all had their separate applications in SharePoint. And so you had to do different components for each grant in a different SharePoint application, put all the information in and submit each grant separately. They've decided to move forward with a unified application, as many states are moving forward with a unified application. Some of the information does overlap per the IDEA or the title grants. And so that's why they're putting it all in one location. This year, it's a pilot application that we are part of with 47 other districts. Next year, everybody will be moving to the unified application. So this was a nice chance for us to provide feedback, see how things would go. From about November of last year through weekly through up till now, I join webinars every week, every Tuesday at 9 in regards to the next modules that we need to complete. There's priorities modules, there's the GEPA statement, there's all of our assurances. And so they've kind of walked us through all of that process. We've been able to give feedback to them. But what I want to give you an overview tonight of is the federal grant applications that we are almost ready to submit. So the application is due on April 16th for our ESSA compliance for all of our title grants. And then it'll be due on April 23rd for the IDEA-B grant. And the reason for that is IDEA-B, which covers some of our special education and related services, they have not released yet their finalized preliminary awards yet. So right now we do not have a preliminary allocation in the area of IDEA-B. but we are working on putting all of our related documents up into the application, which does include a special education handbook, which was compiled by another one of our team members, Director of Special Education, Danielle Nee, and documentation of parent meetings. So those are some of the supporting documents that we have to put in to meet federal guidelines in order to receive those fundings. The IDEA-B funding generally goes to what we're putting in the application to fund a special education teacher salary. So that is part of IDEA-B. Moving on to Title I, this is for funding to schools with high numbers or high percentage of children from low-income families, and it helps them meet their challenging academic standards. Generally, what we're putting in the grant right now is salaries and benefits for level 3 educational assistants who provide support to students in order to help them meet their academic needs, and a homeless set aside for uniform shirts and Chromebooks for students if students aren't able to purchase those on their own. It is a requirement that any educational assistant being funded out of Title I funds is a level 3 educational assistant. So that's why that's put in there. The big news is this was a significant increase from FY25 of about $140,000 increase. So that's a nice increase that we're projected to get. Now, keep in mind, right now, these planning awards are only about 90% part of what they believe that we will get as the final awards, because they want us to plan kind of conservatively. They don't want to give us more money and then have to take it back when it becomes a finalized award. So these are just preliminary planning applications. Title II-A, we are applying for that as well, which supports effective instruction, funding to schools to improve academic achievement and help teachers and educators with their quality and their effectiveness. So this funds a partial salary of an instructional coach, which again, the preliminary amount is listed there on the right, and it's also an increase from FY25. So it's nice to see a little bit more money coming into the school. Title III-A is for our English language learners and immigrant students to meet state academic standards. We use Title III funds to improve our ELD program for ELs by identifying, acquiring, and upgrading curricula, instructional materials, educational software, and technology and assessment procedures. We're projected to get a little over $3,000 in that area, which is an increase from FY25 as well. And then in Title IV-A, there's 3 areas of funding that we can work on in one or more of the focus areas of well-rounded education, safe and healthy schools, and utilizing technology to provide high-quality learning experiences for underserved students. We do support a partial salary of an educational assistant in that funding area. You can see the preliminary amount there on the right-hand side as well, which is also an increase from FY25. And again, the preliminary awards are typically only a portion of the final award, as it's considered a planning award. And again, the state education agency has to wait for the final award so they can calculate the estimate as a planning award first, so that they know that they're still in the planning stages. And again, we are in that pilot program for the new unified application where all federal program applications are in one place. And this will be a requirement for all schools. It is due April 16th, and we are well on our way for completing that before the deadline. And then April 23rd for IDEA-B, and they hope to have those preliminary numbers to us by next week. And so we are in the final inputting stages of that, and we would like that to be submitted prior to the deadline, which we feel like we're on track for. And I'm going to turn it over, actually, before I open it up for questions. I know Melissa Hernandez, our Director of Assessment in ELs, has a bit of information to share about Title III, because it works a little bit differently than the other grants, as the money doesn't come straight to us. Melissa, are you out there?
I am. Good evening, our dual chairs, Senora Reyes and Ms. Rayleigh, and members of the board. My name is Melissa Hernandez, and I am your Director of Assessment English Learner Programs. I was excited to see an increase. I just want to remind you that we saw that increase because we added grades, the lower grades. And I'm hoping that maybe we'll see an increase of funding next year, because they do take the totals of your English learners from 80 and 120 day, and they divide that in half to determine the funding allocation for the next school year. So we did see an increase. I will say that our ELD programs definitely are improving. Some of the things that we used money on this past year was to buy some leveled readers. And so what we're hoping to do is just work more closely with our language arts teachers so that we can buy leveled readers of whatever novels or literature they're exposing the students to in their language arts class, just to give them that additional fundamental support. We've had some family engagement activity, and we'll have another one. We actually were able to purchase some books for our English learners to take home over the summer as our family engagement activity. And I'll actually be hosting office hours once a week for an hour where parents and students can just kind of drop into the Zoom and we can go over some instructional strategy if they want to share what they're reading about. One thing to note is with Title III, if you do not reach the $10,000 threshold, you do have to join a consortium. So we will be joining the Rec 2 consortium. So what that means is that until we get to the point where we have enough English learners where we would get a $10,000 allocation, we have to join a consortium with other Title III subgrantees, just so that we can still qualify to receive the award. So it won't flow, the money doesn't flow through to the charter school, but instead we will be with Rec 2. Just in my time as the Title III specialist with the public education department, Rec 2 is the most responsive rec, which is why I elected to go with them and be part of their consortium. And I'm just really excited. Some of the funds that we do have left over, one of the things that we're seeing is our end counts are so low at all of our Explore Academies, and being that we're different in that we don't do any canned or boxed curriculums. We will have the ELD coordinators writing out curriculum for a term. So that way, if we can try and get Explore Academy and other Explore locations doing the same thing, then we can have a way to gather some data, so that if someone in Las Cruces is doing something really well and we're not seeing that happening in Albuquerque, then maybe we can actually have those teachers as a resource. Because unfortunately, with the way our model is, we also only have one teacher that's our ELD department. And so I just want to make sure that we just have that collaboration and a way for us to collect meaningful data so we know areas of improvement. And with that, we'll use Title III monies from next year to move towards achieving those goals. But if you have any other questions, please let me know.
And at that point, that's pretty much the overview we wanted to share of the federal programs and the federal grants we are applying for. We do have to have documentation in our application that we presented this information to you, that you're aware that we do have the special education handbook, and that we do have a document of parent meetings in regards to our IDEAB application, and the date of this meeting will be put into our application to say that we did present this information to the board. And if you have any questions, I'll open it up for questions.
Lisa,
Yes,
are you
Ms.
sitting
Reyes.
in a, oh, sorry.
Sorry, Karen, I raised my hand and I can't see everybody, so.
No, go ahead, Dr. Reyes.
What's the climate right now like for these federal grants in public schools, given the political climate? Like, this is a lot of work to do grants and to make sure you make the deadlines and have the data to support the initiative of the grants. Is there any notion of whether or not these will continue and would be successfully gained for this next school year?
That's a great question, given the climate of where we are currently in the nation and in education. As of what we've been told by the state education agency is that we're moving forward as business as usual. And so they're wanting us to apply as business as usual, which is why they gave us these preliminary planning awards and things like that. So that is a good sign that we are getting those preliminary planning allocations. And so we just want to make sure it's even more important at this point that we do meet those deadlines. It's always important to meet those deadlines, but it's even more important now to make sure that, you know, we have our information in to show how critical this is for supporting our schools and our students. But as of right now, like I said, I've been attending those weekly webinars for an hour every Tuesday since about November. And this question has come up a lot. And they've told us that, you know, keep planning as, you know, you've got your preliminary award, keep planning and writing those applications so that you can submit and that all the data is there. So right now, that's a positive sign. Hard to tell what might happen in a month, but right now it's a positive.
It's also, I think it's also a good sign that our state is aware of this situation and the fact that they may be willing to supplement these federal grants if they fall through with state money that is available for education. So that's a good sign too.
Yeah, and Doctora
Yes.
Reyes, the only thing I would like to add, especially in regards to Title III, we really want people to feel safe and our families to feel safe when they're coming to our campus. And we know that given the political climate, that could be an issue with getting families engaged, which is why we're offering a virtual option over the summer so that if parents want to drop in for that hour a week, I can still provide some sort of support or instruction without them having like that fear of maybe having to go to a campus. And we're also being very careful in our messaging for any activities dealing with Title III because people automatically assume Title III, immigrant, non-citizen, right?
Right.
And so we're also very careful in the way that we're messaging and sending out information about any upcoming events that are specific to our English learners, just in hopes of avoiding that while still having that family engagement, but protecting that safe space for our families.
Thank you. As a bilingual ESL teacher myself, I so appreciate that the work that you do to gain trust with families, which is often a difficult time when political situations are that they are. So thank you so much for the work that you both do in ensuring that our special populations are getting the services that they need and that the families are feeling rewarded. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I will say we have some amazing ELD coordinators in Las Cruces. Adeline is working with K5, and then we have Addison with 612, well, 611, and he really has impressed me. I'm just so proud of his growth from the beginning of the year. He's really taken the time to do the research and he wants to do what's best for English learners. And sometimes it's very hard to find someone that's enthusiastic about teaching ELD. As you know,
Yeah.
once we get those endorsements, we're just stuck there for the rest of our careers.
Right.
But I'm really proud of the work that our ELD coordinators have done, and they've really done a great job connecting with families.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I wish I could be at the school, but it's a conflict of interest, so I can't offer to help out there.
So I just have a question, Lisa. Are we seeking an approval to proceed with these applications, or you don't need a vote of, you do? So
Yes,
my
so that we
ask
could put
on
the date.
behalf of, my ask on behalf of staff is that we approve to proceed with these applications as presented, if you're so willing.
Thank you, Karen, for clarifying that. Yeah, we did need to know whether there was a vote. So as Karen said, do we have a motion to move forward with these federal grant applications as presented?
I make a motion to proceed with these federal grants as they have been presented.
I will second.
Yep.
Perfect. Do we still have Member Pahi? Sorry, she's not on my screen anymore.
Yes, she's here.
Oh, perfect. Member Pahi.
I'm here. Claire Riley?
Yes.
Dr. Reyes?
Yes.
Gabriella Graham?
Yes.
Linnell Pahi, yes. Motion passes unanimously.
Wonderful.
Thank you for
guys so
allowing
much
me
for
to
your
present.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for your work on these. We know how important these grants are.
We know how hard it is to write a grant too. So thank you.
We know how
welcome.
in general grants are in general.
But it's all about the school and the students, and that's what we do it for, because we want to
Yep.
make sure that they are getting what they need to increase their student success. So thank you for allowing me to present these tonight.
Thank you so
100%.
much.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Melissa.
Thanks for being here so late. Thank you.
Thank you. Sending you to cyberspace.
You know, our meetings have gotten longer and longer, which I'm not complaining, not necessarily complaining, but it's funny how that happens. But okay. I think it's the longer we are in
Closed session.
production.
Oh,
I almost said production, but like in service of students, I feel like it just gets longer and longer, which is fine. It's not a big deal.
Well, we're right at it's that time of the year.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Then did anybody have, excuse me, any, we're just leaving this on here because we do need to recruit. I do believe we have, Karen, correct me if I'm wrong. Did we have 90 days or 45 days until Claren's resignation?
We have 45 days technically.
Okay.
So I do have someone that Dr. Hall referred, but I don't want to share yet because I haven't been able to connect with him to confirm everything. But Dr. Hall did have a name of a actually a teacher who might be interested. So I have reached out via email and we'll try to meet with him to make sure he understands the role before bringing him forward to you. But I have that. That's the only one I've heard from anyone.
Okay. We are still, so that is the one that we absolutely have to fill. And then we did vote to add 2 additional seats. So please, if you know of anybody, they don't have to have any experience with education. So I think that that's the one thing, like actually like the more diverse backgrounds, sometimes the better, especially for school boards, because you do get a more diverse space, right? Because they have different education, they have different knowledges. Like if you know a lawyer who would be willing to be on our board, or a financier who would like to be on our board, whatever that looks like, if you know somebody who might be willing to serve on the board in a volunteer capacity, anytime I talk to them, I just, we have normally monthly meetings. They can run an hour to 3 hours. I don't think we've gone over 3 hours yet. So an hour to 3 hours once a month, with occasional special meetings, but not very often. And then there's 8 hours of training, right? So I would actually say the commitment, that's the word I was looking for. The commitment is pretty low time wise for
most.
different boards.
A board member.
For a board member, right? Okay. So please, if you have anybody who's interested, let me know. I'm happy to meet with prospective board members as well. You can send them to Karen. Christine is probably willing to meet with them as well if they have any questions or just want to go over anything. I have someone who might be interested, but they're not moving to Las Cruces until later this year. So that's in flux, but they are interested. It's just that they don't live in Las Cruces currently. They live in Albuquerque. So okay.
That's okay though, right? That they don't live in Las Cruces. If
Yeah,
they have
there's
to
not a
live in-
there's not a requirement to live in Las Cruces. Obviously, that's a preference, and it would look very odd if several members didn't live in the area. They really need to understand the area, the students, the culture. Um, so, but
the
yes, you
person
can
that
have
I,
that if that person's really interested in planning to move to Las Cruces, it would not. They're not prohibited from being on the board by the residency. Um, but obviously the more they know about the community, the better, right?
For sure.
But yeah, that would not prohibit them. And then I just want to underscore what Clara said, like, we don't need more educators necessarily. Like I think having a teacher at a, at a K-12 school would be good, but we already have lots of education represented here with Dr. Reyes and Clara Rayleigh. We have a parent with Linnell and her own business work. We have a law enforcement person. So that's really great. But I agree with Clara that getting those other areas, a business owner, a legal person, a doctor again, or nurse or medical
Yeah, I know we
professional,
had a
all that.
healthcare person at one point, and
Yeah.
that was really awesome. So yeah, diversity on a board really is so important, so important. So please don't think that you can only ask people that have any education experience. I would actually say don't ask people that have education experience.
They're
Like,
opinionated.
there. We love educators. I'm not saying that, but yeah, having a lawyer, having a financier, having whatever, it really does help. Okay, so moving on, Christine and I were able to meet with Tony to go to finalize the head administrator. That's not a word. Head administrator's evaluation form, and that can be found in the agenda. And so today we're just asking for a motion to approve that form to move forward with that. That is actually, we had already talked about it. That's the Excel rubric. We just put it into a form, as well as the 3 strategic goals that Dr. Hull had identified as the 3 goals that she wanted to be evaluated on this school year. So that is the form that we will be presenting. And again, that's in alignment with Excel, which is the New Mexico kind of admin standard new rubric that they just, I think that's new this year. And that's kind of a combination of what we've done in the past, and then what this new program that Dr. Hull requested to be where her evaluation comes from. So both Dr. Reyes and I are in agreement with this. We've met with Dr. Hull, so if you guys have any questions for us, that's what this is for, as well as just approval of it.
Tara, remind me, was I there for that portion of it? I know I've been out.
We've been in discussion about the rubric or the evaluation tool for a couple of months about how we would evaluate the administrator.
Okay.
And
that
then,
one.
so when we
Okay.
met this week, we just kind of finalized the way that we would evaluate the administrator. So you just need to say if that document is enough, or if you would like us to add anything, or if you want to approve it as it is. Right, Clara?
This is, yeah, and this is in alignment with what we've done in the past, but the rubric component of it is different. It's in alignment still, but it's just a different way of looking at the rubric, because this is what New Mexico is using for admin. The Excel, which I put in there, the Excel guide and the Excel rubric, that is what the state is starting to do for their admins. And Dr. Hull presented that as something that she felt was a really well-rounded evaluation process. So there'll be a self-evaluation. We'll be able to evaluate using this rubric. We'll take into account some formative evaluation pieces as well. And then this is where we would then the rubric is about innovating, being like high achieving on that particular piece. And if you go to the actual rubric, it gives way more details than what's in this document, right? This document
so we
is
cut
definitely...
it down for you, so you're welcome.
Yeah. So you have to go to the rubric, you have to go to the guide to get more information on what does that actually mean, right? Because we didn't want all of those words in this document. We wanted this to be a little bit easier, but it's in alignment with that rubric, and that guide is what we would use to then evaluate Dr. Hull at the end of the year. Any additional questions? Do we have a motion to approve? Or a motion to table? I mean, what?
Well, give them a minute to read it. We put it together. We've read it several times. But
That's true. And really the only thing that's changed from the last time we talked about this was the actual objectives. So everything else is pretty, I mean, this is pretty much what we've already discussed was the Excel rubric. This was already brought to you guys' attention. This hopefully is not new information. It would just be objective 1, 2, and 3 on the strategic initiatives. Those are the ones that Tony actually identified as the objectives that she wanted to be evaluated on. And sorry, I keep going back between Tony and Dr. Hull. I apologize. I mean, I know that's who you are. Like, you're like, that's my name, but.
Okay, well, I guess I will make the motion to approve the annual evaluation on the head administrator as presented.
And I will go ahead and second that.
If we could do a roll call?
Sure. Clara Riley?
Yes.
Dr. Reyes?
yes.
Gabriella Graham?
Yes.
Linnell Pahy, yes. Motion passes unanimously.
I kind of feel funny about saying yes about something we created, but okay, yes.
I mean, we still get to vote on.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next is we do have a closed session. We have actually 2 closed sessions tonight. But the first closed session is for the purpose of specifically discussing matters related to the head administrator feedback on performance. Do we have a motion to go into closed session?
I make a motion that we go into closed session to discuss what's on the agenda
Do we have a second?
regarding the head administrative feedback.
Yeah. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Do we have a motion to close the closed session and return to open?
I make a motion to close the closed session and return to open.
We have a second.
I will second that as well.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, there is no action. All that was spoken about in our closed session was that which was written in the agenda, and there is no action to be done from that closed session. Do we have a motion to return to closed session? I'm sorry, give me a second for what it was. To discuss the purchase, acquisition, or disposal of real property. Do we have a motion to go into closed session? Sorry.
I make a motion to go to closed session to discuss the discussion of the real property.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This shouldn't be long, folks. We'll be back into
Where's
conversations from our closed session are ongoing. Do we have a motion to go into recess until a special meeting scheduled for Tuesday? Hold on, I don't know the date. Tuesday the 15th at 1:30.
I make a motion that we go into recess and continue discussions on Tuesday, April 15th at 1:30.
I will second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Karen, you can stop that recording. I would like to recall to order the originally Wednesday, April 9th meeting, now reconvening on April 15th for Explore Academy Las Cruces. And let's do a roll call.
Okay, Claire Riley,
Yeah, here.
Christine Reyes,
Here.
Linnell Packey here.
And that is a quorum. We do anticipate that member Graham will also be joining while we are hopefully in closed session. So, and we would love her to be able to join us in that closed session. Do we have a motion to move into closed session or reconvene in our closed session, I guess?
I
will
motion that,
to reconvene in a closed
go
session.
ahead. Perfect.
We got a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
If we could please have Dr. Hull, Mr. Sparks, Mr. Padilla, and all of the members of the board in that closed session. Do we have a motion to close the closed session?
I motion, go ahead, Gabby.
I make a motion to close the closed session.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm Aye.
Sorry, I missed who seconded.
Christine, Dr. Reyes.
Thank you.
And then unanimous 3-0. Okay, do,
2:54. Okay,
yeah, sorry, Karen, I'll go a little slower. I apologize. Okay, do we have a motion to put the bond on hold to investigate the Del Rey lease and the tenant improvement payments, as well as the new parking lot bill that was brought to our attention yesterday?
I motion that we put the bond discussion on hold until we investigate the aforementioned items that we are just made aware of.
The
I
bond,
second
the
that
bond
motion.
or the bond discussion? You said bond discussion.
Put the bond on hold until we investigate further. And I make well, I can't make a second motion, right?
Do we have a second?
I seconded to investigate the lease and the parking lease and put the bond on hold.
And if we could do a roll call, Member Graham,
Yes.
Member Reyes, or
Yes.
Chair Reyes, Chair
Sorry.
Rayleigh, yes. Do we have a motion to pursue opening up our own foundation?
I make a motion that we should pursue making our own foundation.
Do we have a second?
I will second that motion.
And roll call vote, Member Graham,
Yes.
Chair Reyes,
Yes.
Chair Rayleigh, yes. And I have no idea what else is on the rest of our agenda. So give me 1 second to get back to that. Sorry. Actually, it's just any additional board comments and then potential, do we have any board comments at this time? Additional board comments?
If I can make a comment regarding the property lease from the invoices from the city.
Please.
Just from personal knowledge and where getting invoices from the city from where I used to do events, they used to bill me for things that had already been paid on. So what you need to go back and look at is look at the invoices to make sure that it's not a duplicate invoice under a different invoice number, because they tend to have the habit of assigning invoices to different people, and each person ends up coming up with a different invoice number, but then it's for the same service.
Okay.
That's already been paid for. So that's just from personal experience from where I work, that's happened.
Thank you for that feedback, Gabby. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other board feedback, we're at public feedback. We only have one person in the attendees, so I just wanted to make sure that Ms. Black, that you didn't have a public comment at this time.
and if she does, she can raise her hand or put a comment. Oh,
No, she
no
said no
comment.
comment. Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn until our regular May meeting on May 14th?
I motion that we adjourn until our regular scheduled meeting on May 14th.
I second
We have
that
a second.
motion.
All those
I
in
second.
favor?
Yes. Aye.
Yes, aye. Perfect.
Aye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Dustin.
you.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Holt.